You're listening to the Beyond Measurements and Image podcast, where we build healthier lifestyles, elevate your well-being, and transform lives. Welcome to BMI.
I'm your host, Dr. Drew Crawford. I'm a board-certified gastroenterologist and obesity medicine specialist. Thank you for joining me today on Beyond Measurements and Image. Welcome to the last edition of the BMI podcast for 2025. What started out as a platform to have discussions about weight with patients has transformed into a small but growing podcast in a true labor of love. Over the last 40 episodes, we've discussed diets, drugs, and motivation. We've explored exercise, delved into the complexities of the brain and its role in hunger, satiety, and weight. We've learned about the politics and the, quote, science behind the dietary recommendations that we've been given. And what we've really learned is that they're recommendations that we should not follow. We've met new friends along the way, like Zach, the wheelchair-bound veteran who overcame addiction to prescription drugs and replaced it with a love of exercise. And Kenny, who let life get in the way as he went from a collegiate football player to an obese bar patron back to a strong, motivated cyclist. And our friend Huffy, the man with the infectious smile and zest for life, who brings together a passion for cycling, mental health, and a sense of community that we're all better off for. And how about Fernando, the GI doc and obesity medicine specialist who has overcome so many obstacles, including citizenship and obesity, and is now a board-eligible gastroenterologist and a board-certified obesity medicine specialist, and most importantly, a new dad. And of course, our first guest, Dr. Britt Morris. If he can overcome the adversity that he faced, what chance do any of us have to make an excuse not to do something? Of course, Haley, our producer, got to share her insights on the family and the podcast. Last but not least, there's Houston. I loved every one of the interviews, but Houston's story just hit different for me. Yes, I'm his dad, and yes, that changes everything. But the insight and strength that Houston gave us all should get all of us closer to our goals. What an amazing kid with such strength and selflessness. For all of our guests, I offer a special thank you and hope you will join us again in 2026. Today, as we prepare for 2026, we're going to hear from some of our previous guests, but we're also going to hear from some new guests on their 2026 New Year's resolutions. I'm going to go first. The Boston Marathon has always been an elusive goal of mine. And for many years, I ran marathons, and I ran somewhere around 25 to 30 marathons, but I've only really ever raced 2, maybe 3. The first one was in 2023 when I went to Eugene, Oregon, with a goal of trying to qualify for Boston. So at the time, my BQ time, the time I needed to qualify to get into Boston to run the Boston Marathon, was 3 hours and 35 minutes. And I ran it in 3 hours, 34 minutes, and 46 seconds, exactly 14 seconds faster than I had to run it. And although I qualified by their standard, unfortunately that year, that time was not good enough to get in. It was an actual Boston qualifying time, but those of you that are runners know that even if you make the qualifying time, all that does is get you into the pool to get looked at. But they take the faster people in your age group with a 14-second margin. That wasn't good enough. So initially I thought, my goal was to qualify for Boston. It's true. My goal never really was necessarily to run Boston. It was just to qualify because that's such an elusive time. They really know what they're doing. They really know how to set that goal just out of range because it's age graded. As you get older, you get a little bit more time, but you don't get a lot more time. And it's just a difficult goal to achieve. At least it is for me. So finally, after 25 or 30 marathons, now I didn't try to qualify on all those. In fact, to be honest with you, I don't think I tried to qualify on any of those until 2023. I take that back. At 1 year, I did go to Houston with the intent of qualifying, and I made it about 13 miles. And even though I finished the marathon at 13 miles, I knew I was not going to qualify. 2023, I made the BQ time, but I didn't make it in. And so I thought that was probably good enough. But really, what I found is I really do want to run Boston. That's something that I didn't realize that I wanted to do until I qualified and didn't make it. So my resolution for 2026 is to qualify for Boston with a time that will actually get me into Boston. I've set that goal at 3 hours and 23 minutes and maybe a few seconds, but less than 3 hours and 24 minutes. And I understand that's a very lofty goal. I understand that it's about 12 minutes off of my current PR, but I'm going to have to train and just work at it. So actually, I've started doing a little different training, a little different base training already in an effort to try to get there. I know in order to do this, it's going to require more training and better training. And I'm going to have to change the way that I've been training. Because in the end, whether it's weight loss, recovery, race times, habits, whatever it is, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. That's such a great quote. And so I recognize that, first of all, I ran all those marathons, didn't qualify. Wasn't necessarily trying to, but really wasn't even getting close. Then when I did, I just barely qualified, but I didn't get in. What I know is I'm going to have to change what I'm doing to make the difference to actually get the Boston qualifying time and to get into Boston. But that's my goal for 2026. That's my resolution. And I know I'm going to have a lot of support with that. My son Hayden's going to run Eugene with me. Dr. Trace Huebner in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is going to meet me in Eugene and pace me. This guy's such a stud. He ran with me last year and he qualified for Boston. I mean, he smashed it. He qualified like a 250. And he's going to run Boston this year. And he told me that his goal is to run Boston and to qualify for Boston at Boston, which is difficult to do, but I know Trace will do it. And then the following Sunday, less than a week later, he's going to meet me in Eugene and he's going to help pace me to a Boston entry qualifying time. So I know I've got lots of support with my family, my friends here locally, and Trace. So that's my New Year's resolution. So now we're going to hear from other guests about their New Year's resolutions.
Happy New Year to the BMI Podcast. My name is Britt Morris. I was on the podcast back in the summer of 2025. I've continued my recovery process through addiction and continued my health and wellness journey through a steady diet consistent of the carnivore diet and exercise. My plans for 2026 are to continue my journey in health and wellness. Specifically, I'm going to enhance a fasting protocol that I've started late in 2025. I started some intermittent fasting and I'm continuing that and going to start exploring some long form fasting, 2 and 3 day fasts throughout the course of 2026. I also want to enhance my mountain biking skills so I can hopefully someday keep up with Dr. Crawford. I hope you guys have a great new year and are blessed throughout 2026. Happy New Year.
Hey, 2026 is just around the corner. And what am I doing to take myself beyond measurements and image of myself for 2026 is to slow down. I am a full gas, burn the candle at both ends, do my best to remember memento mori in all that I do, but yet I hit too much caffeine. I move too much. I don't slow down enough. So I'm really going to work on meditating. I'm really going to work on appreciating. I'm really going to work on not abusing my body and time so that I can be more aware, more appreciative. And what I like to say is to embody more gaiety in life, to truly be in joy, IN-joy. Trademark right there, all mine. All right. I love you. I hope you all have a great year because it is going to start with a bang. So take a deep breath, breathe it in, realize all the hard work we all have put in up to this point enables us to appreciate and experience so much more. So let's work on our resilience. Let's work on our durability. Let's take a walk, maybe slow down. We don't have to go for average speed all the time. Love you.
My name is Houston Crawford, and for my New Year's resolution, I will be trying to pray more and also trying to be less judgmental of others.
So our guest, Kenny Hill, of episode 18, titled From Desk Chair to Barstool to Bike Saddle, wrote in and said, "Hey everybody, this is Kenny Hill. I had a great summer. Things were going as expected, riding the bike, feeling healthy. But then in July, I had a mountain bike accident that took me off the bike for about 3 months. Now I'm working on getting my fitness back, starting with the turbo trainer this winter and then progressing back to the road when the time is right. During this time, I've also been focusing on my mental health and family. Life threw me another challenge with an ailing parent, and that's something you really have to figure out on the fly. No one ever prepares you for this part of life. So right now, I'm taking it one day at a time, appreciating everything I have and keeping perspective. Just keep living, man. LIVIN, living." So Kenny did have a bad bike accident. I saw it. He had some serious wound to his foot on a mountain bike race, but he's still in the game, healing up and getting after it.
Hi, this is Haley. For 2026, I have 3 main resolutions that I want to focus in on. 2 on physical health and 1 on financial health. As my dad mentioned a few episodes ago, BJ Fogg, author of Tiny Habits, wanted to floss more, so he set a goal of flossing 1 tooth every night. If he wanted to floss more, he could, but he at least had to floss 1. For my 2 physical health-centered resolutions, I decided to take a page from BJ Fogg's book. For my first resolution, I've noticed I've become a little more sedentary than I would like to be. So to counteract that, I'm encouraging myself to walk 1 intentional mile a day. If I want to walk more, I can, but they all have to be purposeful. Actions like walking to the gym or grabbing groceries in the store won't count towards this. Of course, this is totally doable and may seem silly to some, but I just want to be more locked in with a specific goal. My second resolution of the year is to drink 1 cup of water before every meal. I've noticed that my water intake has gotten a little sloppy lately, and I just want to make sure that I hop back on track by encouraging myself with guaranteed set times to drink water. Again, I can drink more if I would like, and it may seem silly, but at least 1 cup before every meal. My third resolution is with financial health, and that is to read 1 newsletter focused on investing each week. I recently subscribed to one that my dad has recommended to me that hits my inbox each Sunday morning, and I'm excited to start learning more. I'm grateful for all that 2025 taught me, and I'm looking forward to continue to grow in 2026. Happy New Year!
Going into 2026, my New Year's resolution is to focus more on feeling better and not just looking better. My goal is to incorporate more strength training to support my running, all while preventing any injuries. I want my healthy choices to be more intentional, and a training plan will help me stay consistent.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I am Drew's wife, and I am here to talk to you about my New Year's goals for 2026. My number 1 goal is health. I have this on my list probably every year, but I've never been super successful. I've made changes throughout the years, but not significant enough that I think I can take it off my list. The main one is I want to incorporate more movement, which would include strength training 3 days a week, being more intentional with my walking and getting my steps in. I've already started on these goals because I thought there was no reason to wait until January 1. I just needed to get started. So I want to continue doing that throughout the year. There have been some medical issues in our family, and I've had some in the past, and I just want to be proactive and get ahead of that. My second goal is organizing. I am a super sentimental person. I get attached to things and have a hard time letting go. I've gotten better. I've made some baby steps, and I want to continue on that projection also. I need to learn how to purge some things, and I need to address it in the way I find comfortable and not feel like I'm being pushed to do things. So that's what I want to work on because I know it needs to be done. Number 3 is I want to work on my hobbies more. I have rediscovered my love for sewing and making things, so I want to spend more time doing that. I also like to read physical books, but I also like listening to podcasts. I have found I like the self-help podcast, so I want to do more of those. The 4th thing is I tend to find myself getting on my phone and scrolling, playing games and those type of things. So I want to work on that and become more present in the moment and not becoming a screenager. So those are the 4 things I want to work on: health, organizing, hobbies, and decreasing the amount of time on a screen. We have a very busy year this year for 2026. We have our daughter getting married and 3 of our kids graduating, 1 from high school, got 1 from college, and then even 1 from medical school. So it's going to be a little hectic, but going to be so much fun this year with all these new adventures and things going on with our kids. So I'm hoping to stay on track and achieve these goals in some way. Anyway, you guys have a happy new year.
Hi, my name is Hannah. My 2026 New Year's resolutions are to spend less time on social media and to open my Bible more often, at least once a day, and to also find new hobbies for myself, like painting and bullet journaling.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hunter. This year, my New Year's resolution is a three-pronged approach. First is to limit my ultra-processed food. Second is to limit my sugar intake. And the third is to increase my water intake.
Hey there, this is Hayden. My New Year's resolution for this year is to be more consistent. To be more consistent in my diet, not eating a lot of processed food, drinking less energy drinks, so on and so forth. Being more consistent in lifting and in my runs, and being more consistent in my studies.
I want to say thank you to each of our previous guests and to all of the guests that participated in this New Year's resolution episode. Most of all, I want to thank each one of you for taking the time to listen to the BMI podcast. It's small, but it's getting there, and I'm so proud of it, and I'm so very grateful to you, the listener. Good luck on your New Year's resolution for 2026. I would love it if you would jump on any of our social media and share what your resolutions are, or go to our website, thebmipodcast.com, and let us know. And lastly, I want to close with a quote from Laura Buchanan that I think will help us all to keep in focus the purpose of a resolution. She says, if you don't change, that's a choice too. I think those are great words to think of as we prepare for our New Year's resolution in 2026. Happy New Year from the BMI Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Drew Crawford. Join me next week as we go beyond measurements and image to build healthier lifestyles and elevate your well-being on the BMI Podcast. See you then.